Go to Fergal Nealon, who's in our audience from Sligo. Fergal, you're very welcome. You're
Thanks.
just back from an extraordinary journey. You took a supply of body bags over to the border there, didn't you?
Yes, yeah. It was my technology developers are from Kharkiv. They fled to the west of the country. My main guy Nazir there has a pregnant wife. He's only 25. He doesn't want to pick up an AK-47, but he said, let's use his own skills logistically to try and help out with the cause. So he connected in with medical requesters in the Ukraine, and within a day I was in a WhatsApp group with the head of the health department, Maxim Kosev, in Kharkiv. Maxim sent us on his priority list of medicines, sent us on pictures of incubators. I don't have a humanitarian background. And then he sent us the message about the body bags. And he said, guys, I don't even have enough body bags to bury the dead.
What an awful message to send and to receive.
Awful. So I knew this was something I could do, because my good friend David and Breach McGowan, the local funeral director in Sligo, is such a generous man. He gave us a pallet of body bags, 210 body bags. I rang my buddy Mark Walsh. I said, let's get the body bags to the border. So that was our mission. We set up a war room in the Adelaide Casino. Pharmacies in Sligo delivered medical supplies, and Dr. Joanna, local Polish GP, Peter Byrne as well, an Abbott's logistic director, Father John Carroll. We came around to people of Sligo and triaged the goods, maxed out our Ryanair luggage, and got it on a flight to Sheshov, which is the closest we could get to the Ukrainian border.
And you knew, because of your contacts, you knew exactly what was needed, which was really important.
Yeah.
But meeting your contacts at the border, that wasn't easy. That was tricky, wasn't it?
Yeah, very much so. And it was thanks to our Polish fixer driver, connected through JP McCann at the Irish Open Poker Festival. The Polish fixer brought us, the translation was really vital to have. We met a pharmacist, and our local GP had set us up to collect the pharmaceutical drugs, which were vital, from the priority list and bring them across the border. Mm-hmm. Now, the border crossing into Ukraine was very easy, quite the opposite of the other way. Full of soldiers, but I describe it as like a West of Ireland petrol station that's closed down, just desolate. Now, the guys on the other side are blinking lights, because they can't come over.
They can't come over because they're not allowed.
No.
You can't go over, because if you go over, you're stuck in the queue to get back out.
And if we went out on the public road, we could still be there today. So what ended up happening is we said, we're getting these to these guys. So we drove across the forecourt, which meant we were now in the Ukraine. We met with Alex and Taras, the drivers. They were driving a minibus. We handed over the goods. We hugged it out. All they had room for outside of the medicine was the gallons of petrol they had to get them there. So what Alex went and did with Taras, now Alex is a lorry driver by trade and a bit of a rally driver. What he ended up doing, and I think Dennis described the perilous journey his mother and
his aunt,
his family would have to take to get to the border. They ended up driving 40 hours non-stop, risking their lives to get these goods to the border. Now, Claire, we saw 40 hours later Dr. Maxim with our goods from Sligo and the body bags. The reason I name check so many people in this story is because it's direct action that's needed right now. The large humanitarian company, aid organisations, unfortunately cannot get there to these battle sites. And governments have to play politics, and so do they, and we understand that. But we can take direct action, and that's what's needed.
Mm-hmm. But you have to know what you're doing, you have to know who you're talking to, you have to know what they need, you know, I mean,
exactly.
It was planned so well.
Exactly. Thanks,
and listen, the Sunday Times, the front page yesterday, had your story and also this photograph of you and this chap called Dean, the Irish boy. He's a little more than a boy. There he is, sitting between the two of you. And he was heading over to join the resistance.
Yeah, and there's many more Deans. We met him at the last petrol station before the border, and he was like, "Oh, you're Irish," as if you met him in a bar in Thailand or somewhere, do you know? Dean is a very passionate lad, and he was on a mission. It was beautifully written and described by Bo and the Sunday Times. Dean wasn't ready for that mission. He wasn't prepared. He'd no sleeping bag. He'd no mobile phone. He was in a hoodie. He was in runners. He was mincemeat if he went across the border, because we met other members of that Foreign Legion, and they're suicide squads. They're not ready. There's so many of those guys.
But you tried to convince Dean not to cross over, didn't you?
So Dean helped us with the medical supplies, and that was exciting, crossing the border, handed it to Ukrainians. And we said, Dean, you can give a lot more than just being mincemeat in the Ukrainian ditch here. So the next day we went to the refugee centres and we saw what needs they had. And we looked at that, and that's the next part of our campaign with the Rapid Response Ukraine. We said, look, Dean, you can help these families end up with the right host families in Ireland, and vice versa. So right now, Dean is in a refugee centre in the centre of Poland with his Google Translate, and he's figuring out, okay, you have a child, you might want to be near a hospital, you might want to be near schools, you might want to be in the countryside or the city. So what we're doing now, we've already housed 18 people in Sligo. So what we're doing now is we're asking for the host families to contact rapidresponseukraine.com and then tell us what you have, tell us the accommodation you have. Because again, the large organisations don't have the bandwidth to personalise and localise these needs. So Dean is helping us on that side of the mission, and he's bringing a busload of these refugees back to Sligo.
Yeah.
So if people want to take direct action and want to do something more than click a like on Facebook and send to the large agencies that aren't getting in there, Rapid Response Ukraine can do that.
Okay, and you're going to repeat this and you're going to keep working.
100%. So
Fergal.
basically, we have another supply run going out this week. So what we're asking people is to support us on rapidresponseukraine.com and make that journey that Alex and Taurus take, 40 hours, make it as valuable as possible. Fill as much in that load so we can save as much lives as possible.
Okay,
and this is immediate direct action.
Fergal, thank you so much for coming in, and well done.